You're listening to the Icandemy podcast, the podcast for people who can but don't know how. This is where you get actionable steps to turn vague dreams into blissful realities. And I'm your host, Omoshola Victoria Wolabi. So let's get started. Do you ever think to yourself, I want to be able to impact lives, leave an imprint in this world, but you feel isolated, stuck, unclear on how to show up or get started? If you've answered yes to this question, I want to extend a very special invitation to you to join us on our upcoming workshop, the Courageous Confidence Workshop. This workshop is live, where we get to work together on that call so that you can crack the confidence code, awaken your inner giant, show up authentically, and attract your tribe. Head on over to offers.icandemy.org/courageous. Again, it's offers.icandemy.org/courageous. You'll find the links in the show notes below. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Icandemy podcast. Hope you're doing well and your week is going great. On today's episode, we're going to be continuing our conversation all about the concept of miracles and how we can unlock these miracles in our lives. On the last episode, we talked about what makes miracles possible, and we established that principles are what makes miracles possible. Why? Because the earth and life are governed by principles. And we went and talked about a couple of principles that govern the earth and the life that we live in. We talked about the vital order, which states that only life can create life. We talked about the inexorability principle, which states that it is impossible to stop, alter, or resist the inevitable, which means no matter what, life goes on. We talked about the principle of time, which means that time is a constant thing. It moves and time determines life, but life cannot change time, right? We also talked about the evolutionary principle, which means evolution is inherent in life and has shaped our biodiversity over billions of years since the creation of the earth. We also talked about the principle of cooperation, which means there is cooperation everywhere in nature, from the molecular level to the symbiotic and social interactions in nature. What am I saying in essence? We need cooperation to survive. We need cooperation to reproduce, and we need cooperation to grow. So those are the principles that govern earth and life. Now, we've established that principles is what makes miracles possible and significant. Now, let's look at this whole concept of miracles again. For those of you who have not listened to the last two episodes, I'm going to bring you up to speed real quick. Miracles happen as an interruption of the order or the principles of nature. If we've established that the only reason why miracles can happen is because of the principles of nature, then miracles happen as an interruption to the order of those principles of nature. Why? As an act of God's divine mercy. That is why miracles happen. Miracles are proof of the identity of the Creator who created the principles that govern the earth and life. Miracles happen as a sign of God's sovereignty. When we experience miracles in our life, then we understand that there is something larger and bigger than us. Miracles are a supernatural intervention in the lives of human beings. Now, some people mistake miracles and magic to mean the same thing. I mean, we've seen I can't remember his name now, this popular magician you see walks up on the street, puts a coin in his hand and performs all of these illusions and all of those things. Miracles are not an illusion. Now let's look at the difference. What makes miracles different from magic? What makes miracles different from the magicians that we see on stage or we watch on Netflix? What makes miracles different from a magician like Dynamo, for example, right? What makes miracles in a class or by itself, right? Because at the end of the day, if you look up the word magic or magicians, you will see that what they do, they are also called illusionists. What is an illusion? Something that is not real. They are called mentalists, escapologists, right? Because these things are not real. Miracles, on the other hand, is real, right? It's real. Okay, family, let's face it. We've all felt pain. We've suffered the losses. You know what it's like to want something so bad, but not see a path to its accomplishment. The question, however, is, do you know how to pick yourself up and move on despite what has happened? This is what I share with you inside of my new book, Good Medicine for the Crushed Spirit, a practical guide to helping you find purpose when adversity strikes. Inside this book, you will find personal stories, relatable biblical tales, and anecdotes that prove you are never alone in your despair and will inspire you to turn pain, discomfort, disappointment, or setbacks into something positive that works for you. So if you're ready to change your life in meaningful and purposeful ways, get your copy of this book today and let the transformation begin. And now let's look at the difference between miracles and magic so you never get it twisted. Miracles are a supernatural work of God. God, the creator of the heavens and the earth. Miracles happen as proof that God exists. That is why you will see somebody who falls down from a skyscraper, right, and defies the laws of gravity and does not die. You see, so miracles are a result of God's power intervening in the world. I heard a story about a lady who had no fallopian tubes and she carried a baby to full term and gave birth to that baby. That is a miracle. We know it is not possible to get pregnant without your fallopian tubes in there. So how does that happen? That is a result of God's power intervening in the world. Miracles reveal truth. Miracles draw our eye to reality. And miracles are an expression of God's creative power. Magic, on the other hand, though, magic either has a human or demonic source. It means it is either an illusion or it is powered by demonic forces. Magic is an attempt to circumvent God in the acquisition of knowledge or power. Magic involves manipulation and opposition to the truth. Magic and illusion distract our eyes from the reality. In other words, they don't want us to see the reality of that magic that they just performed. That is why it is absolutely significant that we understand how miracles work. I love the story of Antoinette Tuff so much. I talk about this story a lot. You may have read it in one of my newsletters or hear me talk about it before. But I'll say it again. Antoinette Tuff was a lady who she's a global speaker now. She runs like this consulting agency. She's an author, best-selling author. Antoinette Tuff was a lady who was, after about 30 years of marriage, her husband left her with a child who had a disability. She was all alone with that child. And she actually I think she actually tried to take her life because she was such in a state of despair. She attempted to take her life not once, but twice and failed at it. Now, Antoinette worked at a school. And one day she goes to work like every normal day, goes to work in her misery, sits down at her desk, and lo and behold, a gunman walks into the school. He walks into the school with ammunition. He's armed to the teeth, AK-47, everything. Yeah? And then this man threatens to kill everybody in the school that day. This is a true life story. Antoinette Tuff was a school bookkeeper. Yeah? Right? So this is a true life story. You can just Google her. Her name is Antoinette Tuff. Now, this guy walks into the school armed with AK-47. He walks into the school, and the name of this guy was, I'm trying to remember the name of the shooter. His name will come to me now. So she convinced this armed gunman with words. Antoinette Tuff, just a depressed woman, a bookkeeper, started to talk to this guy and disarmed this guy with her words. She disarmed him with her words. This guy had over 500 rounds of ammunition. He was armed and ready to kill every living thing that he found in that school that day. When little children were studying, his name, Michael Brandon Hill. He was 20 years old. He walked into the school and he tried to kill everybody there. And Antoinette Tuff, a woman who in her depression started to talk to this guy. What did she do? She shared about her life. I'm also depressed. I'm sad. My husband of 33 years just left me with a disabled child. And disarmed this guy with words. That is a miracle. But how did she get to that point of miracle? Only pain could draw her to that level, that depth of connection that guy was feeling. At the end of the day, the guy was also in pain. That's why he did that. Came to the school ready to kill everybody that day, right? That in itself is a miracle. Antoinette Tuff is a miracle. And I want you to know that no matter what it is that you're going through today, I want you to understand that you are first a miracle, number one, and your life is full of miracles if we look closely. Every day we wake up, we go to bed not knowing what the next day holds, and we wake up with a lungs full of breath, your legs are working, your arms can walk, your brain is thinking. That in itself is a miracle. So when somebody asks, where or what is a miracle, you should jump right up, stand in front of them, square up your shoulders, look them straight in the eye and say, I am a miracle. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and until the next one where we are going to be talking about this a little bit more. I'm going to be discussing the miracle of you. Yes, I know we touched on it a little bit this episode, but in the next episode, we're going to enlarge it and expand it because I want you to know, I want you to start to live your life, walk around like the miracle that you are. Thank you so much for listening, and until the next episode, keep on shining. This episode is sponsored by our very own Mogul Mindset Training. Are you ready to embrace new experiences, see opportunities where you thought there was none, and totally surprise yourself? Because you can by unleashing the power of your mind. Mogul Mindset System is a 5-step system that helps you retrain your mind to work with you and not against you. So you can awaken your inner giant, 10x your impact, your income, and become truly unstoppable. The truth is, you, my friend, have a superpower, your creative genius. And I'm here to make that power multiply manyfold so you can get past fear, self-doubt, and finally start working and thriving in your life and business. Ready to unleash your superpowers? I thought you would. Head over to mogul.icandemy.org. That's mogul.icandemy.org to learn more. So there you have it. Thank you so much for listening. And for more content like this, follow us on our social media handles. On Facebook, it's at Icandemy, the Facebook page. On Instagram, it's at Icandemy. Or come say hello over on my personal page. On Instagram, it's at Omoshola Speaks. On Facebook, it's Victoria Wallaby. Feel free to reach out, introduce yourself, say hello. I love meeting you. And if you have any stories that you feel will inspire another woman to action, I want to hear from you. I really do. I love hearing from you. Send me an email to hello@icandemy.org. So it's hello@icandemy.org.